that time of year again. Time to get outside and prepare your landscape for the upcoming season. It's important to walk around your yard and evaluate the toll that winter has taken on your landscape. Let's walk around with Jim and take a look at things that we should be doing. Hey Jim, this landscape is very well taken care of, so what are the guys going to be doing here?
Well, you know, Connie, this is a maturing landscape. We actually planted this project, about 9 years or so ago. And everything, of course, was a lot smaller back then, but you know, these are living, growing plants, okay? Things grow. And it's very important that we maintain them on a regular seasonal basis. So each spring, this is one of the many clients that we come to after the winter months are over and kind of prepare the beds and the plantings for the next growing season. So we'll come in and we'll clean the beds, prune, fertilize, do some shaping, do some rejuvenation pruning, cut back perennials, those types of things. And the fellows are doing some of that work already. We're going to walk around, I'll show you. But it's really important to maintain your landscape once you've made that investment, so you can have it continue looking good for a long period of time.
Great. Well, let's go see what the guys are doing.
Good idea. Come on. All right, Connie, so listen, this is the very important first step. Before we do anything else, the first thing we're going to do in our beds here is start doing some clean out. Remember, these beds have been exposed to the weather all through the winter period, after the fall leaf drop in some cases. There may be road debris in the beds themselves, a lot of broken branches. So the first order is, let's do a general cleanup. So we get our rakes out, we'll get our blowers out, and we just start going through the beds, okay? And just start kind of cleaning everything up. You know, we want to scratch everything around. See, like here under the evergreens, you get all those leaves under the branches. We'll pick them up like this here. This is called, you know, housekeeping.
It's like using a vacuum.
Well, the thing is, just like anything else, if you don't clean up some of the debris, it's going to invite a lot of problems down the rest of the growing season.
Right.
So the first thing we're going to do is clean up. Once we're done with the cleanup, a general cleanup, we're going to go in and start doing some of our pruning. And there's a lot of different ways to prune various types of plants, evergreens, flowering shrubs. Some of them have different pruning requirements. And these guys are real well trained at what they do. They do a great job with it. But I will tell you, we have a new website up now, chnursery.com. We got some great information on there on how to prune. So it's really worthwhile going to see.
Nice.
So Connie, this is really a great spot because we've got a lot of different varieties of plant material. We can show you some pruning techniques, okay? So here we have some hollies, it's an evergreen, and you can see what's happened from the last season, all this young growth coming out. We want to kind of cut that back a little bit and give it a little shaping. So you can use either, you know, a head shears like this here, and you can do some shaping with it like this here, okay? And just prune back some of that real tall, long stuff. The other option you have, thank you. Good sharp pair of head shears. This is one other thing I do want to tell our folks at home. If you're going to do some of this stuff at home, make sure you have good sharp tools. Nothing worse than trying to cut some of these branches and you have a dull blade on here and all you're going to do is damage the end of the branch and cause a problem down the road. So make sure your tools are nice and sharp. So sometimes you can go down on the inside and you can do some hand pruning like this here. And you can see all of a sudden we're starting to get a nice shape.
I see some berries though.
Yeah. They're actually going to be the berries for next fall.
Ah.
Down inside. And this gives it a little bit more of a natural look. Some people like the pruning really nice and tight. Other folks really want to have it more of a natural shape to it. And again, this will all come back out. So you can see how you take that long stuff like this. If you got some real heavy ones, you can go down on the inside and prune them out.
It's really not that hard.
No, it's not that hard.
Already shaping up.
Now, behind us we have a real common plant in our area. This is barberry, red leaf barberry. This is a barberry. We have some spirea out there. This is one of those plants where they can get away from you if you're not careful. All right. So we really encourage folks, once you have these plants, to really hit them very hard. In other words, shear them down to about that height and then let them grow out the rest of the season. Don't touch them. At the end of the season or in the early spring, cut them back to the same height again, and you're going to get a lot more time value out of that plant. than if you let it go, because these will have a tendency to get really large, even though they're supposedly dwarf plants. And then it's going to really look horrible when you go to do some pruning. So the guys will show you that. We're going to fire up one of our power pruners here shortly. So you have spirea, you have some evergreens. This is another evergreen here. This is a cypress. Most evergreens you can prune virtually any time. Typically on some of the trees you want to wait till after the new growth comes out. On some of the shrubs like this you can prune pretty much any time.
I noticed that sometimes there's some brown areas like on the lower end.
That could be from a number of things. Could be winter damage, could be a broken branch. Sometimes if there's a lot of dogs in the area, they'll damage some of the evergreens. So you're going to want to go in there, trace that all the way back to some good healthy growth, prune that out. Yeah, for sure. Hey, good job, Jeremy. You know, they don't let me use the power tools here.
You're not allowed, no more.
So look, I just want to show you something here. We're just going to clean this mess up a little bit here. Okay? Take all this debris out. All right. Now, if you look, this is what this looked like. See that one back there?
Yep.
That's not been cut yet. And see how we prune this back nice and hard like this? It looks a little severe, but on spirea and barberry and a few of these other types of plants, this is what you want to do every spring, and then let it grow out so it maintains that nice natural form throughout the rest of the growing season. Yeah, it's really important. Some people are very afraid to trim too hard. Some plants really need that hard trimming, and that's a great example. Thanks, Jeremy. Good job.
Coming up next, we tackle some wild perennial grasses.
First Northern Bank & Trust has deep roots in our community. Chartered 100 years ago, First Northern Bank & Trust has grown to 11 branches in the Poconos and Lehigh Valley. Longtime bank employees take pride and pleasure in providing a broad range of services to generations of customers. Today, First Northern Bank & Trust offers the latest in banking technology like remote deposits and online banking. For personal and business banking accounts and loans, contact First Northern Bank & Trust. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Isn't it time for you to start enjoying your backyard just like you see in the magazines and on TV? Hi, I'm Jim Skakoza from Chestnut Hill Nursery, and we're here to help. For over 40 years, we've been creating beautiful landscapes for folks just like you. You can count on us to build it right the first time and create a long-lasting project that'll provide a lifetime of memories. Imagine a new patio, fire pit, or outdoor kitchen. Then complete the scene with amazing outdoor audio and lighting. Together we can dream it, design it, and our expert team can build it. So go to chnursery.com to set up your free consultation. Make this the season you turn those dreams into reality. Start planning that first party now.
Looking for plants you can trust to create a beautiful, easy-to-maintain garden? All you have to do is look for the Proven Winners name to know you're getting the most distinctive plants on the market. That's because Proven Winners partners with the top plant breeders around the world to ensure varieties that are vigorous, healthy, vibrant, and unique. Chestnut Hill Nursery Garden Center employees are Proven Winners certified. Go to provenwinners.com to learn more about what makes Proven Winners plants different from the rest. Proven Winners plants at Chestnut Hill Nursery, Route 209, Broadheadsville.
Welcome back to Pocono Landscape Challenge. We're in the middle of pruning all this stuff. Jim, what are we going to do here with this?
Come on, get out of here. Get out. All right, there you go. Grasses. You know, everybody asks about grasses. Let me get this out of my face.
Okay.
So here's the thing with grasses. It isn't perennial. I encourage folks to leave them up all winter long because there's some interest.
Yeah, they're
Even
pretty.
though they're not dead, but they look dead.
Yeah.
All right, you still have a lot of winter interest in this, in the snowfalls and all. So we like to just cut them back in the springtime. And really, this is one of those plants where you just really want to get it and cut it so it's only 6 or 8 inches high off the ground. And then it's going to regenerate for the season again.
Okay.
So Jeremy's going to come in and show us how we're going to cut this. Because he just loves running his power saw. Real easy. Why don't you step back over here?
Okay.
We'll watch him fire it up. Great job, Jeremy. So look at that. See what you have there? And they had that big, beautiful grass plant. This is a great variety, by the way. But we just want to cut it down so it's about 6 or 8 inches off the ground. Doesn't matter what variety, you do them all the same way. And what will happen is, probably by next year, we're going to want to cut this up into maybe 4 or 5 different plants, dig it out, divide it up. Otherwise, what will happen is the center of this will start to die out because it gets so root bound in there. Same thing with any of the perennials. You want to just cut them down to the ground early in the spring or late in the fall if you want, if you prefer. And then they'll just regenerate come the next growing season. And the next thing we're going to talk about a little bit rejuvenation pruning.
Okay.
All right.
Wow, Jim, this looks really wild.
Well, this is kind of the natural form of this plant. This is a viburnum. It is a native plant. We use this in the landscape quite often. It gets a large white flower in the springtime. It's really pretty. But what's happening now is that it's really starting to get, if you really look down inside here and you see all that branching, it's getting all confused and twisted up and stuff. You see this a lot in some older shrubs like this here. Another one that's real common would be like lilac, where you want to go in and maybe over a 3-year period, you go in and you prune about 1/3 of what we call the old wood. So if you look inside here and you see some of those heavier stalks,
Right.
you would take maybe 1/3 of them out this year, 1/3 of them out next year, another third out the following year,
Gotcha.
and that's going to force more of the younger growth to kind of develop and give a better shape to the plant. So that's called rejuvenation planting. Steve's going to start doing some of that now. I think you got one right there ready to go? All right, so here's one we're going to kind of watch your eyes. There we go. Okay, so you can see up in here where this is all getting these branches are all starting to grow together. See this here?
Yeah.
You want to take, what do you want to do? You want this one here? There you go. I think you're going to have to take that one all the way down, Steve. Down to the bottom. Pull this out of here.
Wow.
This type of pruning takes a little bit more time because you really want to look at it and determine before you make the cut what you want to take out of there first. But that opens up the plant, you get more light in there, it's going to spread a little bit nicer. And when this thing flowers, it really has kind of a layered look to it with the flowers.
So he's just tidying that up.
He's going to tidy up that cut, right. So again, a shrub like this takes a little bit of time. It's a little more delicate pruning than taking that power shears and just, going across it. But ultimately, it's much better for the plant.
Up next, taking care of the planting beds for that manicured look.
Joining me now is Kevin Barry of KMP Plumbing and Electric, and we're talking air conditioning. I see you put a new system here in this new home.
Yes, we put in a tap-in IQ drive system. It is a system that's a hybrid between a heat pump and a gas furnace. What basically it does is it's 98% efficient equipment with 25 SEER equipment outside on the condenser. What that means is your energy efficiency rate is very high and your usage is very low. So you're basically not using a lot of gas with this, and you're not throwing a bunch of money out the window and unused resources.
So why did you put a new system in here for them?
The system that they had was outdated. Their energy bills were very high. It was averaging anywhere from $600 to $800 a month for them to run the system. So it was basically, outpricing the house.
So Kevin, what are some of the features with this unit?
It's a fully modulating gas furnace, which runs anywhere from 50% to 100% of its capacity, and as low as 15%. And every 60 seconds through the thermostat upstairs, it analyzes the indoor air temperature and then modulates accordingly. So it's not running at 100% capacity all the time. So it actually learns from the customer on your usages and then adjusts the house comfort levels accordingly.
Now, you have something with the system that's a dehumidifier?
Yeah, you can actually use a dehumidification program in the system through the thermostat also. And what that allows you to do is dehumidify the house out and actually bring a better indoor air quality to them.
Now you also have a UV light.
Yeah, there's a UV light that we installed on the back side of it, which also helps with the indoor air quality as far as animals, pet dander, bacteria, and mold that's in the ductwork or being pushed through the system. So if somebody's allergic to, mold and different things along that line, the UV light will help eliminate that, so the quality is better for them.
Kevin, why should someone consider having a tap-in hybrid system?
With the energy efficient performance and durable construction, the system is a great option for a homeowner. The heating and cooling Patrick system contains features that give the ability to provide the greatest amount of whole house comfort. An example being the variable speed motor, and the unit provides dehumidification assistance and more even temperatures throughout the whole house with air quality.
Kevin, if people want more information about this system and more, what should we tell them?
They can contact us at 570-460-0111, or they can go on the web and get us at kmbplumbing.com.
Welcome back to Pocono Landscape Challenge. We're at the next step. What are we doing, Jim?
Well, this is kind of the tail end of what we do here in our maintenance work. So you can see Adam over here, he's doing some spade edging. Why would we do that? Well, what happens over time is the grass grows into the beds and the mulch spills out into the grass. So you want to have that nice, clean, sharp edge there. So we do a spade edge, in this case, where they'll go down and they'll trim that grass and cut this nice V groove in there.
Nice.
Clean up all that stuff. And then the mulch will fit down into that groove and you have a nice finished edge there.
Yeah.
If you don't have plastic edging or some type of edging, whether it's a curbing or a block or plastic, then you're going to want to spade edge those beds. One of the other things we want to do here, now you can see here, these are all perennials. These are all daylilies that are going to just starting to grow up, okay? And we do want to do some fertilization because it's really healthy for the plants, okay? You want to take your vitamins in the morning. Plants like to have a little fertilizer once a season as well. So what you want to do is you want to just take some of the mulch out of the way. Just clean it up, okay? And then we're just going to take a little bit of this. We use a well-balanced 50% organic 10-6-4. Just put a little fertilizer around that plant like that there, okay? And then we can just mix it back in there. The water from the rain will take that and fertilize the roots of that plant. That'll grow much healthier during the season. You do the same thing on the shrubbery, whether it's evergreen or it's a flowering shrub like this or a perennial, same type of thing. Nice well-balanced fertilizer. When you have a tree, if you have a nice flowering tree, particularly if you have a tree that's not looking really healthy, we highly encourage you to fertilize it, but there you need to root fertilize it. And the way you do that, in a case like this here, you would follow the drip line of the tree. In other words, the outer perimeter. If you follow that and went down into the ground, that's where all those little hairy roots, feeder roots, are for this plant. Wow. So you want to take like a bar and punch some holes in the ground about 18 inches apart, and you would fill those holes up with a good balanced 10-6-4 fertilizer all around the drip line of the tree. Wow. And you will see a dramatic improvement in that tree within a season's time. It's really amazing. So you're feeding it down at the root level.
That's good information.
Yeah, it's great information. Now, once this is all done, then we'll come in here and we're going to put down a preen, which is a pre-emergent weed control. So in some cases there may be weed fabric underneath here, which is going to help to control the weeds, or you can use this pre-emergent. We will apply that to the ground first, and then we'll finish this with our top layer of mulch to give it that final dressing. Kind of see how this edge came out nice and sharp and clean?
Yes,
and
it looks
really,
great,
when you
actually.
stand back and you look at that, it just looks like it's a great finish.
Yeah.
But you can see what's important is you get that proper depth. And you see this went down about 5 or 6 inches here. See this?
Right.
And then we cut that back and sweep it back so that when we put our fresh mulch on top of this, it's going to fall down into this space and not spill out over onto the lawn.
This looks so good. You probably don't need much.
No, once the job is, when you first install it, you want to always use about 3 or 4 inches of mulch to control the weeds and to control the temperature in the area of the soil, and also to maintain some moisture there for the plantings. Once you're going in on a seasonal basis, all you're doing is top dressing the mulch. You're putting down 1 inch, maybe 2 inches if you really need more than that. But typically it's just a little top dress over there. So before you do that, Jeremy's got some preen here. Great product. We really highly recommend this. It really helps to control the weeds. And you see how he's doing that?
Yeah.
Just putting down a little layer of this here. And what it does is it creates a chemical barrier for the weeds not to germinate. Okay?
That's an important step.
Very much so, and it's very effective too. It's good for a whole season. We use it quite a bit. And then once he's done with that, we'll bring, Adam, want to bring that mulch up? That's great, Jeremy. Let's just do some mulching and we'll finish this bed up here. All right, so now we're going to take, this is our fresh mulch. In this case, they chose to use a black mulch. This is a dyed black mulch here as opposed to the natural brown that we typically use, but they like that darker look. It's really a preference. So we'll put a little bit of this on here. You guys got another fork there? And all we're going to do is dump it on, okay, and just kind of spread it around like this here.
Okay.
All right, and we're doing that right over the preen. And that's really going to help control that weed growth over the course of the season. You have to do a little bit of handwork when you get down into the areas of the plants, like particularly around the perennials here. We'll just do a little dusting there and then we'll clean that up. Like that. That's it. And they'll do the whole bed like this. They'll do all the beds and let it spill down into that groove. And then when it's done, it just looks fantastic. And it's ready for the next growing season.
Jim, what about your lawn? Everybody likes to have a beautiful green, luscious.
Of course, yeah. So at Chestnut Hill Nursery, we don't really do much in the way of lawn work, okay? We're really about our bed work, our plantings, and maintaining those areas. Lawn areas is a little bit of a specialty, and we're just not really equipped to do it, but there are certain things you want to do either as a homeowner or if you get a regular lawn service to come in and either mow and manage your lawn care, or you're going to do it yourself, okay? Here in the Poconos, it's very important that we have very acidic soil here. So the number one thing you have to do on a seasonal basis is to lime the lawn. Now, you can have the soil tested, but I will tell you that in most areas we're a very acidic soil here. The lime is going to sweeten the soil up and make it more neutral in terms of the pH. Why that's important? Because when you put down fertilizer, which is what makes the lawn turn green, okay, the nitrogen especially, if you don't have the proper pH, that fertilization gets locked up and doesn't get released to the plant in the soil. So you have to have the proper pH. So the lime raises the pH so that the fertilizer will work better.
Okay.
In addition, we have a lot of areas that is prone to moss. You get a lot of moss in the grass. That'll help to control the moss a little bit too. If you have a lot of moss in the grass, you probably have shade, number one, and number two, you probably have a very acidic soil. You're always going to struggle growing a lawn in that space. But over a period of a couple seasons, if you lime and you fertilize regularly, use a crabgrass control, which really should go down this time of the season, you know, early in the season before things start growing. That's going to control the germination of the crabgrass in the lawn, because that comes from seed that was dumped on the lawn from the previous season. So you want to put down that control, and then the crabgrass won't grow. It's easier, I should say, to control it at that point than it is to try to kill it once it's growing. So you want to use your controls, you want to fertilize, you want to lime on a regular basis, and if you do that a couple seasons, do some overseeding from time to time, you can turn, you know, even a meadow into a fairly decent lawn, but it does take a little bit of care and a little bit of work. So check out the Garden Center. We can give you the right products, or if you have a lawn care company, they certainly can advise you about the best way to go forward as well.
Those are great tips.
Still ahead, a look at the finished landscape after maintenance.
Isn't it time for you to start enjoying your backyard just like you see in the magazines and on TV? Hi, I'm Jim Skakoza from Chestnut Hill Nursery, and we're here to help. For over 40 years, we've been creating beautiful landscapes for folks just like you. You can count on us to build it right the first time and create a long-lasting project that'll provide a lifetime of memories. Imagine a new patio, fire pit, or outdoor kitchen. Then complete the scene with amazing outdoor audio and lighting. Together we can dream it, design it, and our expert team can build it. So go to chnursery.com to set up your free consultation. Make this the season you turn those dreams into reality. Start planning that first party now.
First Northern Bank and Trust has deep roots in our community. Chartered 100 years ago, First Northern Bank and Trust has grown to 11 branches in the Poconos and Lehigh Valley. Longtime bank employees take pride and pleasure in providing a broad range of services to generations of customers. Today, First Northern Bank and Trust offers the latest in banking technology like remote deposits and online banking. For personal and business banking accounts and loans, contact First Northern Bank and Trust. Equal housing lender. Member FDIC.
Welcome back to Pocono Landscape Challenge. We're wrapping up here. Today we did a lot of work and it looks great.
Yeah.
But are you going to be coming back here at some point after you're finished?
You know, that really depends on the client, Connie. We have various services that we do for a lot of our clients. A lot of our folks really just want us to come in after the winter and do a spring cleanup, really shape the beds back up, prune, fertilize the shrubs, remulch the beds, and they're good for the season. In other cases, we go back there multiple visits throughout the growing season. So it really depends on the customer, what kind of level of care they're looking for, what they require, how they like to maintain their property throughout the growing season. So we can do various different schedules depending on the client.
I know I would want it done for me all season.
Well, the big one really, as you can see, this is a relatively large landscape, so there's a lot of time here, there's a lot of plants, a lot of beds. So the big one really is that spring cleanup, and it's probably the most important. You want to make sure you get those beds clean, get everything shaped up, get everything ready for that growing season so they're nice and healthy and you can just enjoy them the rest of the season. And then if you need a little touch of pruning, maybe some weeding, some edging occasionally, we can come back throughout the growing season and do that for you.
So Jim, what if they have a lot of landscaping but they want to do something special on another side of the property?
Yeah, not uncommon. A lot of our properties we go into, they want to explore a new area to develop, either in some new plantings or expand a bed particularly, or maybe change out some plantings. Again, keep in mind that plantings generally, even well-maintained landscapes, really have about a 15 to 20 year lifespan. So once they get to that point, it's time to kind of tear them out and kind of start from scratch again. So we do a lot of rehab work as well. It's not just the spring maintenance. So we can certainly add in some new plants. You know, the garden center is open up now. We're getting new truckloads of plants in all the time, waiting for some good weather. But yeah, we've got a great selection of stuff. So if we want to do some fill-in planting, if you have a new bed, you want to expand a bed, we certainly can help you out with that as well.
People want more information, Jim, what should we tell them?
Hey, listen, just give us a call. Come on down to the nursery on Route 209 in Broadensville there, or look us up on the web, chnursery.com. And don't forget, we've got a great new website with tons of information. Go to our resource page.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time right here.
One of the very first things you've got to do after the winter's over.
It's not over.
I'm sorry, it's not over yet.
It is.
It is April 17th and it's still snowing.
I'm just afraid I'll do it wrong. You'll regret it.
You can't do it wrong with these.
All right, so what's up? What's next?
Fertilizing.
All right, so I'm going to start out saying that's great.
It's great.
Do you see the snow on this jacket? This is crazy!